So I asked my cardiologist if I could do a tilt table test instead of doing this heart monitor, and because I have a congenital heart disease, specifically pulmonary stenosis, which means that my pulmonary valve was too small. So I have actually had open heart surgery. I've had 3 different heart surgeries in infancy that like made an alternative pathway for my pulmonary valve at that time, and then later on they stretched out my existing valve, and the other hole was supposed to close on its own, and then they had to fill it with a stent. Anyways, all that to say, my doctor said no to a tilt table test because she was worried that my heart could not physically withstand it, if that tells you anything about how my symptoms are right now. And so we're doing a cardio MRI, a echocardiogram, a stress test, and this beforehand to see if we can hopefully get a POTS diagnosis from those without having to do a tilt table test, because she was so concerned about me not being able to withstand it and the stress that it would put on my heart physically. To be honest, I'm just relieved that I'm getting all this stuff done, that this is a new doctor that I saw, that she listened to me. She made me feel very heard about my symptoms and my concerns, and that I didn't just think that it was my congenital heart disease that I've had my whole life, that it likely is also something in conjunction with it, because I had the same cardiologist for a long time, the one that did my surgeries, who was this old man, and he eventually retired, and he had told me previously that I could not possibly have something like POTS or another heart issue, that they were like mutually exclusive with congenital heart disease, which I now know is not true. And it's part of why I'm also pushing so hard to get into a geneticist. I'm on a 3-year wait list right now for a geneticist for an Ehlers-Danlos syndrome like workup. I have the hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome diagnosis already, but if like with the workup, I'll learn if I had vascular EDS and know like if this is a marker in my family. Like, I don't want kids. I've made every step possible to not have children. So it's not for that sake of like me worried about being like passing it on to children, but like it's kind of important to know if I have vascular EDS and if that could be a reason as to why I had congenital heart disease in the first place, because then that makes me way higher risk for a bunch of stuff later on in life as well, in addition to the congenital heart disease. So yeah, tilt table tests have been discussed. I just wanted to make a video addressing that because you aren't the first person that's commented about a tilt table test, but that's why that hasn't been our first course of action. And if this is inconclusive and we do the other stuff and it comes back that like my congenital heart disease hasn't worsened, like it stayed stable, then we will do a tilt table test, because obviously there's still something going wrong and we want to figure out what these symptoms are being caused by, and likely it will be POTS in that case.